Hi Leo, this is your 2023 year ahead forecast using the tarot. I have pulled from 2 decks, 2 cards per month. Let's take it from the start. Let's go right to January and see what is in store for you. The Page of Wands is the first card that we're getting. So a very cheerful, upbeat and excited beginning to the year ahead. This is an energy of buzzing with electricity, and there is a new beginning energy here. So of course this is going to be the beginning of a new year, calendar year for us, but it also indicates to me, Leo, that you have your kind of mind and mindset geared around new beginnings. And there is a lot of eagerness with the Page of Wands. There is something about loving what you're doing coming up. With the Wheel of Fortune, a major arcana card coming through to clear this up, there's an energy of fate, of destiny, of the upward swing of the trajectory of your life in things that are improving. You're putting your effort into something that pays off very quickly in January. For some of you, a trip, a long time coming kind of bucket list trip comes up. Both of these cards speak about journeys. They speak about cross-cultural experience, foreign places, philosophy. Jupiter is associated with the Wheel of Fortune. In astrology, Jupiter is our greater benefic planet, meaning that it expands what it touches. So this talks to you about basically your mind expanding your horizons, your vision, and your mood being more uplifted and expansive. Good things are coming in January. Watch this space, check in with yourself, see what is growing, what you feel a real sort of surge of optimism around in January. It seems like it's very much meant to be for you. The Wheel of Fortune talks around synchronization. You meet the right people, which is one of these Page of Wands, at the right time in the right places. The Page of Wands is somebody that could be younger than you, from a different cultural or ethnic background. That talks about diversity. So this is not just a month of the same humdrum or the mundane. Actually, January looks to be really exciting and diverse. A lot of high movement, a lot of high tempo energy, a lot of feeling like you're on the up and up, and that your look is up and things are just going your way. So this could be meeting with the right people. This could be having everything that you need to have completed, done, out of the way, so that you can move forward on this upward swing of the Wheel of Fortune without any constructs or obstacles in your way. It's a very advantageous, lucky and fortunate month of January for the sign of Leo. There is something about learning, discovery. The Page of Wands is super eager to share thoughts and learn from the kind of masters that are around them. Maybe this is a year for you. I'm mainly seeing this being a year of travel, discovery, adventure, and very much the year is tailored around new beginnings and projects starting and new chapters and fresh starts, rather than completing or bringing to a close. We're seeing mainly new beginnings in 2023 for you. Following January, we move into the month of February with the Six of Swords. This is a transition period. Again, we have the Hierophant here beside it. So this would talk about soul growth, around learning and wisdom. Now, after perhaps a time of growth through challenge and hardship, this could have been something that was coming through for you in the end of 2022, or around an issue that you're going into the year 2023 with something left unresolved and you're unsatisfied with something at this point still. The Six of Swords is the moving on from this, and the Hierophant will then be the wisdom that you have gained via moving on. This is around peace and tranquility, in comparison at least to the challenges that you've gone through. The Hierophant is associated with the sign of Taurus. You could have been dealing with the Sagittarius in January, or just the energy of Sagittarius being around philosophy and expanding your mind. Now we're stepping into Taurus energy in the month of February. And Taurus is the peace after the wisdom. So in life, to quote the astrologer Stephen Forrest, we put our peace foot forward after we take a step with our wisdom foot. Wisdom is usually gained through challenging experiences in life, be it a divorce, be it a job loss, be it grief. We learn and we gain wisdom through these more challenging times when we put our wisdom foot forward. But in February, you're called to put your peace foot forward, because it can't all just be wisdom, learning, challenge. No, that's not how life works or operates. We need to have time to restore ourselves. So this is a month of replenishing and restoration and respite. You are able to gain some peace of mind, and you're able to learn from your experience and be a beacon of hope and even offer peace and tranquility to others. But basically you're embodying peace, and this is massive soul growth for you, because you start to see in February that it's not always going to be hard, that there are going to be times of peace, and February seems to be a month where you do achieve that great peace that you're looking for, and you just feel very embodied, calm, restored and rejuvenated. This is a massive learning curve in February, but overall a very hopeful message coming through, that perhaps the worst is over and you're headed towards something that feels like calmer waters. The turbulence is behind you, and now you're going to something that seems more stable. The Hierophant is a very embodied card. It talks about the physical body and the five senses. It is number 5. The five senses. You get to enjoy, you get to experience pleasure, you get to just soak up what's around you, what you can touch, smell and taste, and it just seems that it's back to basics in February. You may decide that you want to disconnect from like social media. You want to take a break from the noise of the external world and just get back to basics, enjoy nature and sort of rise with the sun, go to sleep with the sunset. It just seems to be that, imagine how it would be for you if you were to go off grid. This isn't something that you'll have to do long term. Maybe you'll want to, but in February it gives you a glimpse into how that could be and what that would offer you, basically. Getting back to basics and putting your peace foot forward in February. Now March calls for a celebration of some sort. I have the 10 of Cups, which is the end of a cycle. Even though I said that it's mainly beginning energy, this is the one card where I can really see the culmination effect in the year ahead. The 10s in tarot represent the end of a journey, and this one is of an emotional sort because it's the Cup card. So this would suggest to me that in March, an emotional cycle is coming to an end. This could be the end of problems or conflict resolution, or this could be an emotional burden that you're carrying beginning to dissipate now and giving you the kind of best case scenario results that you've been hoping for. But it also just looks like family, good times with family, chosen or otherwise, biological or others. You don't have to share DNA with somebody to feel like they are part of your family. At this month of March, at this point, you feel like you really know who you can call family, those that would take you in and care for you and still love you, even if you had been left with nothing else, your reputation in tatters and all the rest. No, this is people that will love you no matter what. There is an unconditional loving energy surrounding you in the month of March, and it's high time for a celebration. Things are good. Things are growing now in March. There's sort of an optimistic and radiant happiness in the air. This is also a very artistic card. It's associated with Mars, planet of action and drive, in the sign of Pisces, our spiritual sign, our artistic sign. So you may be sort of pouring your heart and soul into an artistic or creative endeavor, perhaps using the pain of what has passed now and what you're beginning to overcome, pouring it into a artistic or creative channel. That can bring you a lot of joy. You're feeling joyful, you're feeling exuberant in March. The 4 of Wands beside this is another kind of card associated with family, because it can be associated with the home and living and domestic situation. So this could be just like family celebrations. This could be something like spending more time with those that you share a domestic life with, and your personal life seems to take sort of front and center. There will be those of you where the corporate life or the professional life is going to be more important, because the Four of Wands can also be a structure like that, an institution like a hospital, a school, a prison, or a household name like Google, or what else? Google, or let's say the ESB or Con Edison. So if you work for something like that, like a kind of brand or a company that everybody knows, this could be where there is celebration happening. So that might mean a promotion. This might mean that, you know, your brand is getting recognized. But mainly I'm seeing family, happiness around family, home and living situation, redecorating, moving, and channeling just like good vibes into your private life. March seems to be a time of the year where for most of you, not all, you're focused on carving out that little chunk of the world that's just for yourself and pouring your heart and soul into it. But I do see, of course, some people advancing and having a reason to celebrate in the month of March around their career too. But this could look like a wedding, an engagement, a child being born, or a family anniversary of some sort. Now, April, May and June, there's a storyline that is unfolding for those 3 months all together. So I'm going to, in a sense, tie it together. The beauty about using 2 decks is we can see repeating cards coming through. You actually only got 1 pair in this reading. That comes up, the Two of Wands, in both April and in June. Okay, so the Two of Wands represents a crossroads of sorts. Should I stay or should I go? Should I do this or not? You can see in the Morgan Greer deck, there's actually another person in the Two of Wands here, sort of giving an assistance or offering sort of a option to this person, or asking, can I come with you, or will you come with me? Whereas in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, it's just one person kind of in contemplation, but the world is their oyster in both cards, which is the sort of message here. So in April, this is when the contemplation begins for you. Are you going to go in this direction, or are you not? Are you going to stay? Are you going to go? You are at a crossroads, Leo, in the month of April, and it seems that it is a perfect time for you to still consider and contemplate. This may be a time where you reach out to others, Page of Cups, your people, basically, the good people around you. This is when we hear this, like, oh, they're good people, basically. You'll know who those people are for you. You have this energy of youth on your side this year, Leo. No matter what your age is, these 2 pages, and I have the Fool card too, I have the Six of Cups later in the year. We still have some kids on display here in the 10 of Cups too. So the quality of youthfulness, of new beginning, of learning, of discovery, of the essence of the inner child being allowed to explore and play and actually make the decisions, that's coming through for you in this year ahead, basically, Leo. So this kind of really gets going in April, where you're deciding whether or not to do something. It could be embarking on a new adventure or a new chapter in your life, but you have people that you can go to and ask. There is an authority within you, though, Leo, where you don't necessarily need to hear it from anybody else, and that's called the inner child. That's the Page of Cups. I love the Page of Cups. It's the voice of the inner child, and it's the reminder that that is a part of us that will never leave us until the day we die, even when we may be older or more frail in the body and mind. The inner child is still with us and still a part and a vital part of us. Ask the inner child what they want. They maybe didn't have a voice all the way through their childhood, or maybe there wasn't much time to play, or there could have been a lot of responsibility or even fear as a child. Now that you're in this position in 2023 where you're able to give your inner child a voice and they can advocate for what they want, this could be a really powerful compass for you. The inner child knows what they want. They're prior to any conditioning. That was when we were really at our most authentic self. What did you like to do as a child before the world told you what you should be doing? The world is your oyster, Leo, but allow yourself to let that inner child give you some advice, or even take the steering wheel and make the decisions. It's not going to steer you in a wrong direction, because it will kind of send you closer towards what happiness may be for you overall. But the decision is not made by you in April, I don't think. I think it's made for you in June, however. Before we get to June, let's look at May. The Temperance card, some soul growth for you. You have to discern what actually makes you happy. And happy is something that we experience. We experience bliss and gratitude and creative self-expression and connection in March. Happy might not be the best word to use with the Temperance card. It's the embodying of peace, and there's a real sort of zen or enlightened quality with the Temperance card, and we can't be walking around enlightened 24/7, and it just wouldn't really be very human of us. But and then maybe you can go you Leo. But the Temperance card is very much just about those moments in our life where we have gone through a period of evolution, of change, of shedding, and letting go of the old way of living, so that we can award ourselves greater peace. And peace is not the same as happiness, right? Because peace is a little more detached from those emotions and just more accepting of all the sort of full spectrum of emotions, and kind of being unfaltered by more like typically negative experiences or typically positive experience. It's going with the flow. It's understanding that there's a season in everything. There's a season for everything in life, and your external world is more peaceful in April because of the inner peace that is just there on a soul level for you. So it's about that growth. But there's also a contemplation with the Temperance card. There's a patience, and there's a waiting sometimes, or there's just moderation and not needing to force. The art of not forcing comes through with Temperance. The Seven of Pentacles. This can be either patience or impatience. With the Temperance card, I'm seeing it as patience, or at least the direction or the advice here is to be patient in May, because something isn't at full fruition yet. The manifestation has not happened, but it is absolutely underway, and that's actually obvious to you. But the Seven of Pentacles tells you that you're still on the cusp of something. You're still at the threshold, but you are rising upwards. This is also a massive year of spiritual breakthrough and spiritual awakening and ascension. So there's lots of different types of awakening journeys. We have a Kundalini awakening, we have ascension. This is more so around ascension, I believe. The sort of triangle on the breast of the Temperance angel is pointing upwards. So this is kind of about perhaps, if it is Kundalini, the energy rising through your body, or it's just like ascension and awareness and expansion of consciousness and becoming more conscious. So I have a lot of cards that indicate a spiritual breakthrough. The Hierophant, well, that's the wisdom and the peace, and the wisdom foot and the peace foot forward. So this is through lived and embodied experience and embodied knowing, and that's something about the first steps of awakening. Also, that may be suggesting that in February you're around guides or gurus or mentors. Now, you're always your own best authority, and that inner child is really speaking to me and saying, like, you'll still always know best, but there's no harm in opening up to help along the way. In the Temperance card in April, it's very much like a how can you ever define enlightenment or spiritual awakening? You cannot. It's something that's just, it's felt rather innately. So you'll know yourself what this is referring to. You see the world differently, and you're able to detach from the sort of there's no polarization anymore. The duality in everything is very much accepted by you rather than rejected by you. But again, there's a choice to be made in April, and you're on the way to making it in May, but there's still some sort of a threshold that needs to be crossed, and you don't have to make a decision. Be patient in May. That's really the message. Be patient and just wait it out, but keep applying the focus and effort. Come June, we have the 3 and the 2 of Wands. So the 2 and 3 of Wands, I should say. That choice, that crossroads, that should I stay, should I go, should I do it or not, that comes up in April, is brought to the focus for you in June again. And it seems to me like that's when you make the step. The 2 to the 3 of Wands, that's when the progress and the leap is actually made, and you go ahead and do the thing, and you're sure of what way you're going to do something, take something, where you're going to live, where you're going to move to, what you're going to work on next. Are you going to take the job? Are you going to go for the relationship? The 2 and 3 of Wands also indicates travel and experience, adventure, cross-cultural, and a lot of diverse experience. And it's really exciting. May, June and July looks like a lot of travel and discovery for Leo. So that seems to be the journey of April, May, June, deciding when the right time to do it is, and having patience and focusing on what the inner child wants, and the fun and the enjoyment and the peace that you're learning about. Okay, into the second half of the year, we're moving into some other territory here. As sure as you were in the first half of the year about the direction you were going, you reached some sort of a dilemma in the month of July with the Two of Swords. That's clarified by our Queen of Pentacles, but they're in reverse, so they're not in the highest representation of that Queen. So there's some sort of fear here. The Two of Swords is hesitation, dilemma. A dilemma occurs in the month of July. So this is telling me that you're thinking about something else now, or there's another storyline that's beginning to emerge in your life and you just don't know what to do about it. You don't know what to do about this certain person. Maybe it's a Capricorn or an earth sign, maybe not, but you're unsure about what you're building. You're unsure about what you're investing your resources in, and you just don't trust that it's going to pay off. There is a lack of listening to your intuition, and this is when basically your intuition tries to speak to you in July. In December, it's going to make sense. The theme of July, the confusion, the hesitation, the dilemma, that begins to completely eradicate, or it has eradicated by December. Because in December I have the High Priestess, the card that is mostly associated with pure intuitive action and intuitive download and just living in your intuition. But you can't do that for some reason in July. There is a block there. The block may be fear, the block may be another person, and this person may be actually slightly duplicitous. There is an energy of deception with these two cards, or being torn about what to do. So there's foolishness here because you are not listening to your inner voice. So sometimes when you make choices, they are not going to serve what's in highest and best for you. Use your discernment, act wisely, seek wise counsel, and don't take everything at face value. Dig a little bit deeper. You are acting with integrity, hopefully, but maybe this is something that warns against acting in a dishonorable manner in July for you, Leo. But for the most part, if you're acting with integrity, it could be somebody else that you just kind of believe to sort of be the best, or, you know, you put your trust in them, and maybe you shouldn't necessarily. So again, just keep listening to that guiding voice within. It seems to be harder to reach you in July for whatever reason. There could be foolish mistakes made around your resources or money in July. Take the blindfold off and take the rose-colored glasses off. If you feel a strong hesitation, it could be a really just intuitive cue to not move forward with something. In the month of August, two major arcana cards. So basically for August and September, we're getting a double whammy of major arcana cards coming up on both decks that I pulled. So these would be months then that suggest that in August and September, massive soul growth and intensity occurs. The Fool card and the Chariot card. Well, the Fool card is our new beginning. It's that fresh start. So like I said, we're just seeing so much about new beginning energy in 2023 for you. Things are starting. Things are not wrapping up. The Chariot card, it's the willpower to move things along. It's the willpower to determine which direction you're taking. It is not passive. It's you in the chariot. It's you in the driving seat. There is an energy of allowing the inner child be the authority. The Chariot card looks very masculine and yang, but if you look a little bit closer at some of the symbols, we see the glyph of Cancer here. If you can see, I don't know how good your eyesight is. We also see this moon, which is the ruler of Cancer, the Page of Cups. A watery sign. My younger brother, is Cancer. I always used to see him as this, and then recently when I went home, he asked me to pull a card for him. I pulled 3, and it was the Page of Cups, the Knight of Cups, and the King of Cups. So baby brother is growing up, and I need to perhaps change the archetype, but this is in my mind at least. The Page of Cups is about that softness, and not losing your kindness, not losing that childlike quality that you have within you. Refine it though, and polish it, and allow it to really just like become something that you don't reject, or it just becomes very natural to you. And in August, you're like allowing that inner voice, that inner child, to make the decisions and trusting in them and thinking it's valid what they have to say. So you give yourself a lot of validation, you're receiving a lot of validation. First and foremost, and most importantly, it comes from you and you alone. But this is a month in August where really big new beginnings are happening. They could be radical. The Fool card is extremely progressive at times, unpredictable. Even people thinking like, God, is Leo mad in the head? What are they doing? But you get it, and you don't care for, it's great if people get it, come along on this ride with me. If you don't, it's okay. It's all love, but I don't have to explain myself to you. This makes perfect sense to me, is what you may be thinking. So the Fool card and the Chariot card, massive leaps and bounds in your soul growth, new beginnings, radical new beginnings, and invention, adventure, and really leveling up and taking something to progressive new heights for you. The spiritual awakening continues with the shadow emerging in September. So the shadow is a vital part of our spiritual journey, and that's the Devil card here. The Hermit rather, looking at the shadow, examining the shadow, putting a microscopic lens and a light there, bringing light to the shadow energies. So this could be the sort of mistakes that we've made, or when we have, forgiving ourselves basically for how we acted, what we said, what we did in times that's all we knew. And yes, maybe it was objectively wrong or immoral or self-sabotaging or deceitful or hurtful to others. Maybe we acted out of fear, jealousy, spite. And that is from a vantage point of what we knew then. But as you evolve on